Hey guys, Mike here. So obviously another big week ahead with economic news, the FOMC meeting, right? Running into resistance on some of these charts we got coming up. And we're going to go over all that, the charts, and then something you really need to start paying attention to because it's happening whether you know it or not. And so we're going to go into that right there. But I'll tell you right now, it's amazing what's going on in the market right now. What I mean by that is you got Dogecoin going up 88% in the last 5 days, right? Over in the Discord on our day traders channel. Look at this, Shiba Inu, for crying out say. Look at this, look at that chart. Another meme stock type thing, right? It's running like crazy. And so I don't know, when I see stuff like that, I'm just like, it's I don't know. Tell me in the comments what you think about that. But that's what's happening, right? Crypto's running, meme stocks, small caps, all that good stuff, right? Well, at the same time, we'll get into this. Well, you got value stocks going up, and so I want to be very clear. Now, understand first, what is the expectation for the FOMC meeting this week? And you can see right here, these are the odds, right? I mean, almost an 83% chance that everybody's expecting a 75 basis point hike this time. And I want to be very clear about what I think here. Do I think the Fed should put any pivoting language or pivot at all? Absolutely not, because not in the history have we ever defeated inflation without the Fed funds rate being above at least core. And we're not even going to get to that, I don't think. So it'd be really bad. But and if the markets start to run, right, that's actually not good for what the Fed is trying to do. And so, you would think after these earnings from the big caps, things like that, it would not happen. But we know how institutions love to do it. And as you'll see on some of these charts I'm going to show you, big money has been making moves, okay? And it's as simple as that. And, if you look at what's happening in the markets with the charts right now, I mean, obviously you see on the Dow, again, I mentioned the other day, but, double bottom pattern right there, playing out perfectly, setting up against the 200 EMA right there. As you can see, actually broke above its 200 EMA, as we can see, and so heading right towards the top of that channel now. And you can see what's happening also, guys. I mean, look, it's all about value stocks, right? This is QQQ compared to the Dow. When it's heading down, that means people are getting into value. That's exactly what's happening right now with the Dow making its surge up. You can see it, QQQ versus S&P, which has more value stocks than obviously the Qs, because it's basically 90-something% what we consider risk or tech stocks and stuff. And going to S&P chart, you can see we're going into major resistance. I believe this is the 100 moving average right here, right up against. Of course, you got where a lot of people think we're going to start selling off at is around the 39.15 mark right in there. This goes all the way back to February 2021. So a lot of resistance that we're going into. And you can see if we go into the 5-minute chart, it's been trading in this channel right here since October around 15th and just bouncing off of it. So that's what we're heading into. Again, don't fight the trend, so to speak. But again, you see the resistance right up there. And this is what a lot of the, somebody said in the comments, the Elliott Wave traders are expecting to get a rejection off of right here and start heading south. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, guys, and share the video. It really helps beat the algorithm and push the videos out to new people and continue to grow the community. I really appreciate everything, guys. And so we'll have to see. If we bust through 3,900, 4,100, somewhere in there is going to be the target, next target that is, and we'll see what goes on from there. But understand it's very important, if you're not doing this, to pay attention to your stocks, to other stocks that are basing out right now, and they're starting to try to form a stage 1. We talked about this with the members, got in a little more detail, put a video out for them this week in particular on this, because it's very important for you to be paying attention to this. It happens in every bear market. And these are the stages we're talking about, and you can see, you can read the top ones if you want to, but it's like you see on the bottom of that pattern right there, stage 1, you got the 30-week moving average, and there are stocks that are starting to try to form a stage 1. And you look through these, and you can see with PayPal what's happening, clear as day, right? It's time to form a stage 1. All right, trying to get above a 30-week moving average. You really want to see the 30-week moving average curving up, which it is not at this point in time, but it's been basing out since actually mid-April, I should say. And if you go to Netflix, remember this was dead in the water. Now look what happened. Big money started moving in, started pushing it up, started letting it consolidate, moved it up to the next box, and now it's above that 30-week moving average. Again, the 30-week moving average is still not curving upwards, but remember this is a weekly chart, so we got a couple weeks above that, starting to fill that gap, and it's up 71% in the last, 4 months right now, I believe. And you see the volume down there. These are weekly volume bars. That is big money pushing this thing up. Now you look at Roblox, same thing, basing out for weeks and weeks now, You can see it's above that 30-week moving average. It's starting to flatten out. You go into Microsoft though, the big boys, guess what's not happening? No, they are not there, right? And so you go to Google, Tesla, Meta, that's not happening, right? And NVIDIA is another one. If we go over to AMD, you can see AMD is another one, not even close to forming those kind of bases. And then we go to Apple. Apple was funny. Did Apple even have a stage 4? Because look where it was at when this whole thing started. I mean, I'm not sure it even had a stage 4, for a stage 1. I don't know. It just didn't have that huge drop like everybody else did. And you look at that chart compared to everybody else's charts. And I mean, I literally just put a channel in to the Discord and also post this to the Patreon as well. When we get new ones in on what stocks are actually forming, as you can see. And if you want to join for that, $7.99 down the bottom. I think we got 7 spots left for now before I lock that up for the next few weeks. And so I want to be very clear also that, and this will be in that video I'm going to do, but if you go back to 01, 08, it's hard to find stocks we cover, we're talking about nowadays, but if you go back to the ones that actually were around, especially in the dot-com bubble, that are still around today, you'll see a lot of times it takes multiple attempts to make this happen. And because what have we not had yet? We have not had capitulation yet. We have not had the VIX go 45 or above, some crazy financial institution go under, or something just, the bond market start to collapse, whatever. We haven't had that moment where you see this just straight drop down on the chart and the VIX going crazy, right? And so that's usually happening in the dot-com bubble crash. It happened in the 08 crash. It happened multiple times actually in each one of them. But, that's what people are still kind of waiting on. So that's why it usually does take multiple times. Now, this is a year first, right? We have shown that the consumer is resilient, baby. We still have trillions of dollars out there, still have credit cards being ran up. We're only getting, the lower income and fixed income portion of the, society here getting crushed right now. Everybody else is just playing like there's nobody else's business, like it's, business as usual. And so, that's the thing. So is this going to be bottoming out soon? Is this where these stocks will stay? We'll see, right? And for indexes to move up and form stage 1, what has to happen before? The stocks on those indexes have to do it before that happens, right? And it takes weeks to months for that to happen. But it's important to watch out. And when you think stocks are dead, as you see with Netflix, next thing you know, big money starts to move in. That's why you got to start looking at those weekly and monthly charts and look at the volume. That's not us. That's the institutions rolling in there. And then when they want to move something higher, it will move higher. Watch this. See what happens to Meta. See what happens to Google. See what happens to Microsoft. Look at Tesla if it gets down to a certain, price target and all that stuff. So I'm telling you, look at that. Look at, who was the other one I'm trying to think of? My mind's going completely blank now and I can't even think of what the stock was. But, there's another one that obviously crapped the bed, Amazon. Thank you very much. Couldn't think of it for a second. But again, I don't do a script. I go off the cuff here. And so if you look at Amazon. I mean, how it just obviously plowed up from 90 to 104 all of a sudden, right? But even if it goes back down to 90, just watch. See if that's that number, 90 to 100, where the big money will not allow it to go into that, right? At least for now, unless something else happens. And so, because another thing you got to remember, fourth quarter, even the guidance sucked, right? But remember, and I'll say this multiple times throughout the year, when we go into 2023, guess what the comps are all of a sudden? Not 2021, where it was a great year, right? We were recovering. It's going to be 2022, right? Where all the guide downs happen, where the stocks look like crap, where the earnings were slowing. Those are better comps to have, so your earnings don't look as bad when you compare to 2022 versus 2021. Remember that, okay? The institution really like that kind of stuff. And so, going into what's going on this week, there are a lot of earnings. And, if you look at what we got going on this week, not any earnings are going to move the market. But when you look at it, because all the big boys are done, you end up with Tuesday's going to be super busy. SoFi, Uber, Pfizer, BP, Lilly, Toyota, AMD. We'll see what the semiconductors do right there on Tuesday, right? Airbnb, are we still traveling? We're going to find out. CVS Healthcare. Progressive, which I told you about, I put that on there because I showed you their chart. And I know they're right at the top of the channel, which I showed you guys. We'll see if they break out of that or end up selling off. Roku, Qualcomm, and number semiconductor, we'll see what that does. That obviously whole sector has been just getting crushed. Etsy, we'll see if we're still buying stuff. How about it? You go over there to Thursday, PayPal, she just talked about, it's going to be a big one, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Coinbase, Block, Twilio, Starbucks, Carvana, they continue to get absolutely annihilated. Stems, another energy one that's been doing pretty good. Fubo and DraftKings gotta go hand in hand. One's gambling, one's sports, which is big, right? Duke Energy is another one, and then Cinema. I'm watching that, or Cinemark, excuse me. I'm watching that one because I want to see if we're still going to movies like crazy. And you look at PayPal. You got a bullish flag forming right there, and we'll see how they report on earnings. A lot of people are projecting good earnings for them and a big move up. We'll have to see, but if it does, because some people are targeting the top of this channel, which would be a 35% move, and then some people are saying between 117 and 120, which would be even bigger move if it happens. And then the economic data, which you can see right here, obviously is going to be a big thing. You got the manufacturing, the JOLTS job report coming out on Tuesday. Really nothing from Monday is going to move anything. Wednesday, the only thing that really truly matters is going to be your Fed rate hike, to be honest with you, and the Fed press conference, right? I mean, that's the big one. That's what's going to move markets either way. That's the deciding factor. And then, of course, Thursday, you're going to have ISM, non-manufacturing. And then the big one on Friday is going to be the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. Do we go up, or do we somehow go down from 3.5, which would be just stunning? And so obviously a lot of earnings, not one of them should move the market or anything. A bunch of different ones could help shift certain things, especially with the riskier stocks, right? I mean, that's really what's happening, right, this week. And so, obviously everything, no matter what comes out, it's all about the FOMC meeting. That's what this is about. And if for whatever reason they show dovish language, or you know what, if they don't even show any kind of dovish language, we saw in June, July, what happened? The market went, did you hear that? And everybody went, no, I didn't hear what? That sounded dovish to me. And then it went, huh, really? And they started talking. Is that dovish? I think that is dovish. I don't know what they said, but hey. And the markets went boom, just blew up, right? Which is the worst thing that can happen, because the Fed will just get even more restrictive if that happens. And so, and that's what I'm saying. They don't even have to be dovish for the market to think it. And you'll know come Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday, what they think, okay? And so just look at those volume bars and say, oh boy, they're moving up, all right? And those key levels of 3,900, 4,100, that's what you got to watch. If we reject off of them, see you later. Heading down even farther. That's just the way it is. And so I saw Goldman Sachs. What they do, I just showed you, what was it, Thursday or Friday, what they were projecting at 4.75 to be the high. Now they're projecting 5%. So they increased again. Now they've been very good at that. Some other institutions have been good at projecting that. But then again, I always tell people, it's crazy when you really think about how desperate the market is, because they're fixing to do, is it the fourth 75 basis point hike? If they do that, my God, how fast they are raising the Fed's funds rate. Never happened in the history like this. It's crazy how fast they're going up as they're selling, as they're decreasing the balance sheet, and people are looking for bullishness in this, and it makes no sense. But again, that's why the market's the market, right? It's not the economy. That's what you got to remember. Those are two separate things. Sometimes it follows it. Sometimes it disconnects itself. That's what it's been doing over the last week. You heard those earnings last week. Come on now. Even Amazon's fourth quarter projections, come on now, not good, right? But market's like, whatever, we're forward thinking, sir, past fourth quarter. And so they do what they got to do. So, anyway, hit the like, subscribe button if you got anything out of this. You can sign up for the few remaining spots, the membership in the bottom if you want to. And I end up seeing you guys tomorrow for another fun-filled day in the market.